This is 7 News, the voice of the border.
Dozens of historical pieces have arrived at the Uiver Hangar, much to the delight of the restoration team. There's photos, pins, medals and more, or genuine items from the plane's participation in the centenary air race in 1934.
When a fellow Uiver enthusiast got in touch with Russ Jacob and asked him if the restoration project wanted some rare memorabilia, the answer was immediately yes. What they weren't expecting was dozens of pieces of history from the centenary air race itself.
He said, oh, it's a rather large box, but there's not much in it. But there turned out to be nearly 60 items in it.
It's small items, a reprint of a passenger's ticket, original photos, as well as badges and pins created for the Uiver's race. The personal touches add to a much recounted story.
They fill in all the little gaps. I mean, we know a lot about the race, but just those little bits and pieces just build a more complete picture for us.
Part of the whole picture of why the Uiver story is so important in the history of Albury. It was just one day back in 1934, but it was heard about right around the world.
Also joining the collection, a series of artefacts from the replica's past as a passenger plane flying between Miami and New York. While the DC2 is being transformed into a replica of the original Uiver, it has its own Albury connection with a border local, one of the founders of the seaside city.
It's part of a really good story about a connection between Albury and Miami.
The artefacts will be assessed and likely loaned for long-term display, while the Uiver Hangar is still a work site. But some items might remain a mystery, at least for a little while longer.
There's a book by the pilot of the Uiver in 1934, which we've never seen before. We haven't been able to find it. The problem is that it's in Dutch, so we can't read it.
Sarah Krieg, 7 News.